Hey BookTube, long time no talk. This is my favorite time of year for BookTube. The end of 2016, beginning of 2017. So we're getting everybody's best list, their worst list, and their TBR list. My TBR list is about a mile long and would take way too long trying to make a video of everything. So instead, I'm going to give you the top 10 series I'm going to read in 2017. I don't know if I'll finish the series because that's kind of a long shot, I think. But instead, I'm going to start these series in 2017. So this time last year, I'll tell you what a failure I was at completing this goal. Alright, so the first series I'm going to try to tackle in 2017 is the Star Wars series. I have all of the novelizations. I'm actually picking up the novelization of Rogue One today. I've started getting into the new canon and reading a couple of the new canon books. And that's when I realized I haven't even read the novelizations of the movies yet. So I think that's a pretty good place to start, especially getting into canon, is actually reading what is canon before we get into the extended universe. So I do have all 7, and I'm getting Rogue One today. So I'll have 8 books to read. The next series is actually a reread. I want to reread in 2017 The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. I read this back in middle school. Remember, there was 4 books. It ends with Forever in Blue. However, I think it was 2 years ago, maybe it was a year ago, I found out that there was a 5th book written called Sisterhood Everlasting. These are both by the same author, Anne Brashares. But Sisterhood Everlasting takes place 10 years after the end of the last book. And in order to give this a fair assessment, I thought I should reread the original books so I can kind of refresh my memory, since I was, I think, 13, 14 when I finished the series. I do remember loving Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be very nostalgic, and my opinions of the originals will probably be a little bit colored because of nostalgia, but I did want to give Sisterhood Everlasting a fair shot. After I reread those, I do want to start in on some of my books I've owned forever and haven't read, and that includes Alice in Zombieland, by Gina Showalter, who knows. Obviously it's an Alice in Wonderland retelling. There are currently 4 books, and I think she was going to wrap it up with a 5th. I think I remember reading, or she is going to decide to end it on a quartet. It was originally a trilogy, and I know book 4 is out, and I believe she said she was going to wrap it with book 5. But obviously it's an Alice in Wonderland retelling with zombies. I thought the covers looked really good. I heard mixed reviews on this, actually, but I think it sounds intriguing. I'm not a huge Alice in Wonderland fan, but the concept did sound a little bit interesting and intriguing enough for me to check it out. So 2017 will be read, because I'm pretty sure I've owned this first book for 2.5 years, maybe going on 3, so it has to be read. It's time. Kind of going on with that Alice in Wonderland theme, I also want to read the Splintered series by A.G. Howard. The covers are what drew me in to this. I think last Christmas I actually got book 3, and I just recently bought the bound novella copies for this series, so I do own the entire collection. And again, it is the Splintered series. It's an Alice in Wonderland retelling. I don't know, it looks so good. And I've written to the author, actually, of these books, because she's writing a Phantom of the Opera retelling coming out in 2017. And before I get into the Phantom of the Opera one, I wanted to read her Alice in Wonderland books, just to get a taste, because I'm a huge Phantom of the Opera fan. So if anyone's read Splintered and wants to let me know what I'm getting into, please comment below, as always. Next is kind of awkward to admit, but I do want to read or start the Crossfire series by Sylvia Day. Now, I own all 5 of these. 5. These got really popular once 50 Shades of Grey came out because I guess they're very similar from what I've been reading. I know, they're gonna be trash, but I love trashy romance novels, let me tell you. These actually do come highly recommended. I was told they are better than 50 Shades of Grey. And I didn't mind 50 Shades. I was blown away by it, but it is what it is. So I am looking forward to diving into the Crossfire series to make those comparisons and see if it is really as great as everyone was making it out to be. Continuing on, I have the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. And I know everybody in the world, or on the BookTube world, has read this series. It's come so highly recommended. I think she just wrote book 5, and I haven't even started reading these yet. So yes, I will read this in 2017, I promise. Especially as the hype has not died down yet. And it's been like, what, 2 years since this first one came out, I think. And people are still obsessed with it. So I think it's time that I dive into that one in 2017. Next, I have Dragon Age. I love the games. And I think there's 5. Yeah, there's 5 books in this series so far. And they take place before Dragon Age Origins. I'm really picky about fantasy, and I think that's why I've laid these on the back burner for so long. And it's been an embarrassingly long amount of time since I've started collecting these. They are by David Gator, who wrote the video games. And I think they do, like I said, take place before the games start. I think it's not until the 3rd book that King Duncan he's not the king, but that Duncan even comes into play in the books. And I am a huge fan of the games. So I am kind of looking forward to it. I've read some of the Dragon Age comics and I wasn't impressed with those. And I don't want to be off-put by this series. And I have high hopes, and I think that's why I've put it off, because I'm scared. I'm scared it won't be, like, as good as the games were. The top 3 series I want to read in 2017 are Dorothy Must Die by Danielle Page. And I know the love of this series has fizzled out with the controversy of Danielle Page. I'm not going to let her scare me, though. I'm not going to let her, like, comments about negative reviews off-put me. I think Jesse the Reader actually spoke about, maybe it was him, separating, like, the author from the story. And I'm going to try to do that because I have all 3 of the actual series and then volumes 1 and 2 of the novellas, the bound novellas for this series. And it sounds like it's going to be a cool ride where Dorothy's evil and actually took over Oz. I don't know. It looks cool. The last book is being released in 2017. The final book 4 is coming out. So I do want to read, or at least start, and give it a fair judgment in 2017. And I have owned this one for a while. So we'll see how that one goes. Next, I have A Court of Thorn and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. Again, this was very highly recommended, probably because everyone's such a huge fan of the Throne of Glass series. But I've heard really good things about this one. I've heard even better things about the sequel. So, of course, I'm going to tackle that. I think the 3rd one's coming out next year. And for me to not even have started it yet is probably a tragedy. Everybody on BookTube speaks very highly of Sarah J. Maas as a whole. This series, I know the first one kind of didn't get that favorable of reviews, but in the second one, I guess, blew everybody out of the water. So I will be reading this one in 2017. And the final series that I promise I will start in 2017 is the Red Queen series. I own the second one, Glass Sword, maybe? Is that what it's called? It is by Victoria Aveyard. Everybody, again, on BookTube has read this. I actually have a signed copy of the second book, and I have the bound novella of Cruel Crown. I saw King's Cage is coming out, and I watched the book trailer for it, and it looks so cool, and this sounds so good, and I'm really embarrassed that I haven't read it yet, but it'll get read. I promise. Maybe. So that's it for me and my list of hopefuls for 2017. I will try to update this channel a lot more, get through some books. I had a pretty successful 2016. I hit my reading goal on Goodreads of 120 books. However, that 120 is filled with a lot of graphic novels and manga. So I'm hoping to get 150 for 2017, and that includes those mangas and graphic novels. However, I'm hoping at least the 10 first books of the series are included, so that's only 140 more to go. Thank you for watching. I hope to hear from you guys soon. Make sure to drop a comment down below on what you're hoping to read in 2017. What books do you think I should add to my TBR list? I mean, it's already a mile long. Let's add another one, right? Have a good one and happy reading.